Well, Jim, after that one, I guess you must be scratching your head wondering how you've taken nothing from a game like that, particularly with the second half performance you put on.
Well, I mean, I'm not scratching my head as to how we, went 2 goals behind because, it was one of the poorest starts to a game that we've made all season. We just didn't cope with the fast start that Livingston, came flying out of the blocks, put balls in behind us. They done the basics better than what we did in the first 20-25 minutes of the game, and we couldn't cope with that, and that hurts me to say that because I've not seen that a great deal this season where we've been outfought and out-battled. So, we can only apologise to the supporters for that slow start, but, thereafter, I would say, for probably the last 15 minutes of the first half and, the whole 45 minutes of the second half, I thought the boys were excellent. But, we can't mask over the fact that we gave Livingston a 2-goal head start. The first goal's disappointing. It's it's not a brilliant corner, I don't think. I don't think it's one that they've worked on a great deal. It's one that we should cut out in the near post, and then obviously we've got to mark our men and make sure that they don't get on the end of things. But the second one, I don't know a great deal about, to be honest with you. I haven't had a chance to watch it back. But, I certainly can't come on here crying about VAR when it goes against us when, we're quite happy to take it when it goes for us. So we found ourselves 2 goals behind, and at that particular moment, Livingston were well on top, and credit to them for the way that they started the game. But as I say, if that had continued and that level of performance was there for the full 90 minutes, then I would be extremely worried and extremely concerned. But I have to, as hard as it is, and I'm sure the supporters, will be extremely disappointed as well. There was a hell of a lot of positives there on the night. Particularly in the second 45. We've hit the woodwork in the first half. We've obviously missed that penalty just on half time. But the second half, it's one of the most one-sided games I've seen for a long, long time. We completely dominated the game, played some really good football, created numerous opportunities, and unfortunately just weren't able to get that equaliser in the end because, I think if we had came away with a point after that slow start, then I think it would have been a great result. But look, it's a sore one. There's no getting away from that because we've, been on a good run of form. I think we won prior to tonight, won 4 out of the last 5. Coming here and getting a point wouldn't have been a disaster. And I think, we deserve that in the end. But the slow start is something that we will speak about, and we'll need to ask questions and try and figure out why we didn't start the game in a better manner.
You've preempted my next question, Jim. Why was that start so slow? What do you put that down to, and how do you rectify something so intangible as that?
Look, I mean, it's, as I said, it's impossible to, put your finger on it. It's completely out of character. There was, individuals making mistakes that they don't normally make, but look, everybody can have a bad day at the office from time to time, and I think that slow start, the mistakes that we made, the pressure that we brought on ourselves in that opening 10-15 minutes, I think just put us on the back foot, and it took us a little bit of time to relax and get into the game. So, if we scored a penalty just on half time, then of course it's a completely different game because, I do believe we would have came away with something. But look, it's very, very frustrating. I think after the Rangers game, when we saw the next 3 fixtures coming up, Hibs, Livingston and Dundee United, I think, I'd have probably snapped the hand off you for 7 points, 2 wins and a draw. Obviously, we wanted to try and pick up all 9, but it's not always that easy. But, we've got an opportunity on Saturday to make amends for tonight. And if we can play, to the level that we did in the second 45, but consistently for the 90 minutes next Saturday, then we'll give ourselves a really good chance of winning the game.
Pittodrie's been a real fortress for you this season, and a little towards the end of last season as well, but the away form is perhaps still a bit of a concern. How do you go about rectifying some of the results on the road and converting what's been very strong home performances into better ones away from the North East?
Well, look, I mean, at Pittodrie we've been getting a lot of plaudits for obviously all of the wins that we've had there, the amount of goals that we've scored. The home fans have certainly been entertained this year with the volume of good quality goals that they've seen. on the road we haven't picked up the points that we would have liked. There have been one or two different circumstances that have possibly played a part, but all in all, we need to have a better return than what we have shown up to now. So it is something that we do talk about, and we will continue to speak about, and maybe during the World Cup break we'll maybe need to sit down as a group and come up with some kind of maybe different game plan away from home. Maybe we can't be as open and as expansive as what we want to be when we're on the road, and maybe we need to be a little bit cuter about how we set up, but that's up to me to figure that out. The players go out and play a way that I ask them to play, so any kind of blame or whatever else you want to call it, negativity that is going to come the team's way, should come my way, because I'm asking them to try and play a certain way. I want them to be recognised as an offensive, entertaining team, and I think we've seen that at Pittodrie, but we need to just try and do the basics better on the road, be a bit more harder to beat, and we need to try and get back to keeping clean sheets. It's as simple as that.
Mentally, how important is it that the players dig deep, respond, get over the disappointment of tonight, knowing that you've got a huge game on Saturday and it's the last one before that winter break?
Yeah, of course. I mean, it's always important to show a positive reaction after a negative result. This isn't I'm not standing here feeling the way I felt after the Dundee United game, where it was an absolute disaster from start to finish. I've got real frustrations and disappointment in how we started the game, and that's ultimately why we ended up losing the game, because we gave Livingston a 2-goal head start. But there are periods of the game that I'm extremely pleased with, and they're the types of things that we need to try and do consistently. We're sitting third in the table at the moment. It is very tight, it's very compact. You can see, right down to 8th position. I think there's only about 3 points between us and them, but this is where we wanted to be at this particular period. We need to go and win on Saturday to make sure that we stay there, and it hasn't been as much as people tend to look for the negatives. It hasn't been all that disappointing. There have been a number of positives, but we do understand that we need to try and sort out the shape of the team defensively on the road, and that's my responsibility, and we'll come up with a plan during the World Cup break that will hopefully rectify that.
Well, Jim, I think it would be remiss of us not to touch on the performance of those in the stands tonight as well. The Red Army travelling in great numbers, filling about 2/3 of the stand behind you. How important is that backing, and how much do the players feed off that, particularly when they come to tough venues like this?
Well, look, I've spoke long and hard over the course of the season, how well the supporters have been and how much they've got behind the team, and particularly the guys who travel the length and breadth of the country, in these difficult financial times. So we're extremely grateful to them, as always, for the lengths that they go to come and support their team. As I said, I think tonight is slightly different, in fact a lot different to what it was at Tannadice, where we felt the need to apologise for the performance, and they travelled to Dundee in great numbers that night, and we didn't give them anything at all. But as disappointed that they'll be that we've lost the game, I hope that they can reflect on the game and see that they saw a team that they can be more proud of, if we can say that, in the second half. And I think the reaction of the fans in the second half showed that they could get behind the team when we were on top like that, and hopefully they can take a little bit of encouragement from what they saw in the second half, and but we'll need to make sure that we don't have a repeat of what happened in the first 20 minutes again.
Jim, thanks for your time.
Right,
appreciate
thanks,
it.
Mate.
Thank you.